For this topic, I expect my students to at least identify who are the parties involved in settle the dispute. Every time we mention about this dispute, you have to keep in your mind that in our daily life as well, we are possible to face with the dispute. Dispute means maybe you have conflict, you have not agree with the other people's opinion, you did not agree with the decision made by others. So when we mention about the dispute, we also mention sometimes regarding to the argument, okay, dissatisfaction. All of these are the topic that will be discussed in the dispute resolution. Okay, so there are a lot of definition that have been covered in this topic based on different perspective. Why I cover in different perspective? Because I would like the student to also know when you work later, the dispute is not only arise between the contractor and the client, but there are also dispute arise between any of the construction parties. The dispute may arise between client and the designer. I remember previously the dispute arise because the architect had been asked to redo the drawing more than 10 times. Okay, because they did not identify that was my friend. So I remember that case always because we have to wait for the drawing. And then once the QS has finished estimate, the drawing had been changed. And then after we finish, then change like more than 10 times at the early stage. It is normal where it is at the detail stage, but at the conceptual stage, if the client asks the architect to keep changing the drawing, there are possible dispute that may happen between the client and the consultant. And then maybe the dispute happen between QS and engineer. The QS say that this design is not accurate because based on our calculation, the poundage or the bulk checking show that the design is over designed. That's why the cost of the project is more. So these are the issue that may be happen when you work later. We have to understand the root cause of the dispute, who actually are the person or the party who give the who are the root cause of the dispute happen. Maybe the original cause is from the client. Dispute happen between the QS and the architect because the client would like the architect to change the design. So all of this has to be settled. But then at the end, the main focus for this topic is between the client and the contractor, because the main issue in the dispute always happen when we talk about claim. The contractor submit the claim that the work had been completed for 50%. 50%, you can imagine if the project is like 100K, then the client say, oh, I think based on my evaluation, the percentage of the work done is only 30%, so the difference is like 20%. Then the contractor did not satisfy with the decision made by the client. That will be the example of the regular dispute available in the construction industry, especially during the construction stage. Okay, so in this lecture, you will look at the meaning of the definition or the meaning of the dispute. What are the solution available rather than bring the matter for litigation, rather than sue the client or client sue the contractor for the litigation, means bring the matter to the court. We have to consider another alternative. Okay, so another alternative dispute resolution available are arbitration. We have arbitration, so you need to know what is the name of arbitration, what is the meaning of the term arbitration. Nowadays we have adjudication. You have seen, maybe some of you see the new words here: conciliation, mediation, mini trial, and so on. So all of these are the steps that can be considered by the dispute parties, okay, in settling the dispute, as one of the method that can be considered rather than bring the matter for litigation. Because once you bring the matter for the litigation, it will actually affect your reputation to become the contractor for the next project. If you are actually the contractor that is under the hearing stage, because the litigation may take like 2 years, 3 years, and so on. You may not allow to join any of the government project. That is one of the issue that we have to consider. But then if you choose alternative dispute resolution, this is considered as confidential and not being recorded as one of the a bad reputation for the court cases record for a future project. Okay, so they are step by step as well. If let's say the negotiation is not successful, we may apply mediation. If that is not successful, maybe we would like to use a mini trial. But nowadays, when we deal with the claim, we have the act. So that is the new statutory provision that is applicable. We call this one as CIPA. CIPA is the Construction Industry Payment Adjudication Act. You can see the word act there. That means this is the statute available for the contractor to claim, to bring up any issue regarding to the claim in regards to the dissatisfaction with the amount of money or late payment from the client. Okay, so this is actually one of the solution that is applicable now in order to make sure that the client and the dispute between the client and contractor can be settled. Basically, this act is allow the contractor to get the payment faster rather than waiting for the traditional method. Okay, because there are a lot of cases nowadays that the contractor receives the payment late from what had been stated in the standard form of contract. Okay, so basically that are the topic that we have to consider before we go to our next final topic. We have one more topic next week under the role of the role of BEAM in monitoring and control of construction